What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 EV stocks based on analyst ratings. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. On a side note, a lot of companies have recently unveiled their earnings, thus prompting a lot of new analyst ratings. So I think making this video very relevant. So without further ado, let's get right to stock number 5. And interestingly enough, it is Tesla, sitting at $350. Analyst breakdown, so there's about 14 strong buys, 5 buys, 18 holds, 3 sells, and then 7 strong sells. As a kind of consensus, it does have a rating of hold, and that is a 3.34. So that is out of 5, so middle kind of the pack right there. Over the last 1 year, for the most part, it's been consistently a hold. High end from analysts, about $500, low end of $115, average being $310.53, representing a 11.49% downside. And you can kind of generally see just the price targets of analysts based on the actual price. So ultimately, when it comes down to it, analysts appear as though lately they've been kind of lagging for the most part, but I think Tesla is kind of a beast in among itself. So Tesla is stock number 5. And then over and above this, what I'm going to be doing is giving you guys short interest updates on all of these stocks. Of course, I don't think any of them essentially are squeeze plays, but it's still good information to have at your disposal. So when it comes down to Tesla, 2.83% of the free float's being shorted, works out to be 76.74 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average extremely low, 0.27%. Even on Friday, shorts did return about 1,000 shares, so not really much activity. And generally over the last 1 year, shorts have been starting to kind of return more and more. So again, not a squeeze play whatsoever. Moving on to stock number 4, you have Nio, sitting at $5.95. Analyst breakdown, you have 8 as a strong buy, 4 buys, 13 holds, and then 1 sell. So as a consensus, you have it rated as a buy with a score of 3.73. And for the most part, over the last 1 year, it's been consistently under the buy category. Price targets though, high end of $9, low end of $3, average of $6.25, which does represent a 5.04% upside. And I think in reality, because of the recent volatility, it was pretty much there like almost a week ago. But generally over the last 5 years, looking at the price target versus actual price, analysts have always been very wrong when it comes to Nio, and this is a good example of that until recently. So there's been, for the most part, 2 times when analysts have been somewhat under, and so ultimately that was in 2023 August, and then most recently as well. So interesting kind of stuff. Regarding shorts, 11.56% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 178.33 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday, shorts did return 392,000 shares. So stay tuned for my Nio dedicated update that'll be coming out on Sunday, so just kind of stay tuned for that. Moving on to stock number 3, you have Li Auto, sitting at $23.65. As far as ratings, 13 strong buys, 4 buys, 8 holds, 1 sell, and then 1 strong sell, giving it a buy overall with a score of 4. Throughout the last year, for the most part, it's been kind of flirting between that buy and strong buy. So in February and also in September of last year, it was buys, or sorry, strong buys. Everything else has been buys. As far as price targets, $38.94 is the high, $18.10 is the low, $29.25 is the average, representing a 23.68% upside. Over the last 5 years with the Li, analysts have always been just a little bit higher expectations and then the actual price target. You can kind of see that from this. Regarding shorts, 4.17% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 22.86 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost per average 8.3%, and generally when it comes down to shorts, they haven't really done too much. They've actually started to increase a little bit, causing it to go from about 3% short interest in July to where it is now, but still nothing really significant. Moving on to stock number 2, you have BYD sitting at 1346. And so for analyst ratings, you only have the one, and this is over the last 90 days, so it is a buy. So putting it clearly under the buy category, rating of 4. Over the last 1 year, it's been buy, of course, and there's only that one, 2833, representing a 110.48% upside. And clearly analysts have always been having higher expectations than the actual stock price itself. As far as with BYD and where it does trade OTC, for under the American exchange, Ortex doesn't really show any of that information aside from this right here. So 0.26% of the free float's being shorted. So of course, not really much to analyze with that. Then moving on to stock number 1, you have Xpeng sitting at 1983. And then as far as ratings, you have 15 strong buys, 6 buys, 6 holds, and then 1 sell, putting it under the buy category, rating of 4.25. So for the whole year, it's been pretty much under the buy category. Rating wise, 3326 is the high, 1827 is the low, average of 2629, and that does represent a 32.58% upside. Regarding the actual price targets versus actual price, analysts have always been having higher expectations based on the stock price. Couple periods, for the most part, pretty much same thing as Nio, so July/August of 2023, and then as well in March. This is where the stock price did overdo the recent analyst ratings at the time, or at least the average. But as far as shorts, 6.35% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 42.47 million shares overall are being shorted. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Do you think analysts are correct in this order? What I do find very interesting is I do a lot of these types of videos, so top 5 and heavily shorted and whatever else. And when it comes down to heavily shorted stocks, it's always the American stocks, American EV stocks, with the exception of Tesla, of course, being the top most heavily shorted. When it comes down to quantitative data, even analyst ratings, it's always the Chinese stocks, Chinese EVs, that are in the front. So kind of interesting. What's your viewpoint on that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.